Hi there everyone. Welcome to Fingers, Fums and Fits. And in today's episode of Titty Piddle I'll be painting Lord Dresk from ASSASSINORUM Execution Force. Can we complete the project before he completes his ritual? Let's find out. In order to help with the painting process, he's still not fully assembled. I also used sticky tack to affix him to a spare base. And I started off in the same way as his Chaos Marine minions, with a spray and brushing of Retributor armor. Followed by 2 coats of Blood Angels Red. Whilst that was drying, I turned my attention to his little familiar. Starting with a base coat of Abaddon Black. Its skin was painted with Rekarth flesh. Washed with Skeleton Horde. Then highlighted with Flayed One flesh, and Pallid Witch flesh. On now to the metallics, which were painted with Lead Belcher and Screaming Bell. And then washed with Seraphim Sepia to give them a somewhat tarnished look. Before a rough highlight of Stormhost Silver to pick out the edges. And to finish off this little fella, I tidied up his robe with Abaddon Black, and then highlighted with Eshin Grey and Dawnstone. I think that red should be dry by now, so back to Lord Dresk. And we're going to begin with his cloak, which got a base coat of Dawnstone. But let's look at that fur. Firstly, let's paint it Doombull Brown. Give it a wash of Reichland Flesh Shade. And then dry brush Scrag Brown, followed by a Liar dry brush of XV88. The cloak itself then got a couple of coats of Black Templar. Because I literally just slapped the red on, I had a lot of tidying up to do with the armor trim, which I did with Retributor armor. It was at this point I decided to paint the metallics too, with Lead Belcher and Screaming Bell. The metallics, excluding the weapons and trophy rack, got a wash of Guilliman flesh. And those other 2 areas were washed with Nuln Oil. And on to some highlighting, starting with that cloak. That was done in the same way as the familiar, with Eshin Grey and Dawnstone. And after picking out some details on the weapons with Screaming Bell, for a bit of variation. All of the metallics were highlighted with Stormhost Silver. I then did a slight highlight on the red armor with Screaming Bell. Now we're going into some details, starting with the left knee. Well, I decided that should be painted the same way as the familiar. It's as if Dresk said,
"If you disappoint me, your face will adorn my armor."
And so the familiar went along with his plans. Anyway, I painted it in the same way as the familiar. And then painted all mystical eye details with Frostheart. I then decided I was going to wash his staff with Griffcharger Grey, just to make it look different from his other weapon. And sticking with his weapons, I applied
Blood for the Blood God
to the blade of his Stormbolter. I did this in quick flicking motions. He is a Chaos Lord after all. But after that blood, how's about some skulls for the throne? I painted all the skulls with Ushab T-Bone, washed them with Skeleton Horde, then highlighted with Screaming Skull. There's some sort of pouch on his trophy rack, probably holding the balls of the last familiar. But anyway, I painted this with XV88, washed it with Snakebite leather, and then highlighted with Scrag Brown. And then forgetting I hadn't painted his tabard, well, that was painted similarly to a load of stuff already. But anyway, here is Lord Dresk assembled. And I painted the base in the same way as the Vindicare Assassin. So, what do we think? Did I manage to keep the paint inside the lines? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again for the next one. Have a great day everyone, and I'll see you later.